Hey guys, Stove here. Today I just wanted to make a quick video going over hotkeys. I posted a couple of videos featuring some Phoenixes and some beyond visual range combat, and I had some radar questions. So we're going to go over that and some other hotkeys really quick that I think that can help you control your jet better in basic fighter maneuvers and in beyond visual range. So hopefully this helps you. Use these as guidelines. Not things are set in stone, guys. You don't have to do everything that I do here. I'm just showing you some of the ways that I set up my controls. So maybe that'll help you better your setup as well. All right, without further ado, here we go. So there's some basic hotkeys that I really think that a lot of you need to set up on your mouse. For mouse hotkeys, the things that I would have on there that I recommend is air brake, countermeasures, and the most important thing is the mouse look activation, okay, and of course the zoom camera if you want it there. But zoom used to be, I believe zoom was right mouse button, and then this was middle mouse button. So I changed this to R. This is also my radar lock. You don't have to have this on a separate hotkey. This just selects the brackets around a target and shows their name. It's very easy to click R in the vicinity of someone and get that, as well as lock them at the same time as well. So it does two things at once for you. It's really good. Mouse look activation, again, right click, and mouse zoom camera, just middle mouse button. Again, these three things on your jet, on your mouse button, rather. So I'm flying, I'm controlling my jet, I'm looking behind me, I can roll right, I can roll left, I can yaw left, I can roll, I can do anything I want, I can pop my air brake, I can shaft, I can retract the air brake and pop it back out, then I can go a different direction. This is very, 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 very important in your hotkey controls, because again, it lets you keep your left hand dedicated to flying and controlling your aircraft, and then your right hand is basically just manipulating the flight of that aircraft, or defensive flying, like popping counter fletchers or measures or air brake or something like that. Okay, so I really, really think that that's very important, and that's something that you should probably do if you have a mouse with a lot of hotkeys on it. I have a Logitech mouse that has 3 different hotkeys that are extra. It has a normal mouse 5 and mouse 4 button, but then it has 2 hotkeys that are left of the left mouse button, which are kind of like 2 more left mouse buttons or left clicks. And then I have one below that, which is kind of like below the 2 other mouse buttons, which for a third. And I do use all of them. I do not use mouse 4. Mouse 4 is for my VoIP on every game and for Discord. So if you don't use mouse 4 for that, then it's a free hotkey for you, wildcard. Okay. With that said, there's a couple of things right here I do different. I do use shift and control for pitch. It's very easy to keep my pinky on those keys and just pull. It's very easy to roll. I highly recommend doing that as well. It really, really made a difference for my flight when I did that when I first started War Thunder and took it off W and S like it was originally. And W and S is my throttle. And then, of course, my yaw is D and A, which is a little bit different because D is yaw left and A is yaw right, which is opposite. It's kind of inverted, but that is for a very specific maneuver. If I hold Q and D, that basically Q is roll left and D is yaw left, right? But it's very easy for me to hit those at the same time because it's just 2 fingers hitting it. And what happens when you do that is you do something like this. And why that's good? Well, because you can dodge missiles, force overshoots, and if you're below 400 miles an hour, as you just saw, you will do a Cobra. Above 400 miles an hour, you're not going to stall out into a Cobra. You're just going to keep going straight. So, again, this is for dodging missiles that are behind you in lower tiers like AIM-9Es and Bs. You might not have chaff and flare at lower tiers, right? So you can just use that to make them fly right by you. If a missile's coming head on, or you're trying to jink a missile like an R-27ER that has a very high hit rate, then you can use this maneuver and it will kind of throw off the missile enough to where you can dodge it. Timing is everything. You're going to have to learn to do it when the missile gets close to you, which is kind of scary. But again, this is more of a last ditch thing than a do all the time thing. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's why you don't really use yaw that much anyways, because you can just use your mouse to yaw. But when you do need to pull off a crazy, insane maneuver, it's good to have these inverted to do just that. Okay, nothing more, nothing less. Very simple. When it comes to wing sweep, I do have that for my Tomcat as 2. That's to activate the wing sweep. For my wing sweep, I have it set to 0 and 9, and those 0 and 9 are hotkey to those 2 mouse buttons I was talking about earlier, to the left of my left click button. Very easy to click, and then I have them set up like this for relative control at 100, relative control step at 50, multiplier by 2. And what that'll do for you is, if we can go back into the game here, and we'll select semi, and then if I hit it once, it's 25% down, 25% down, 25% down, or I can hit it very quickly, and it'll rapidly select the wing sweep, okay? Very, very rapidly. So very easy to do, very quick to do, and again, hitting 2 is no problem because that's just my throttle hotkey, and I don't have to hold W to keep Afterburner on, so I just hit 2, pop that on, and then I'm hitting my mouse hotkeys to swing my wings out or in, and again, very, very good to have, especially when you need to turn very quickly. If your wings are all the way back and you're in BVR and you need to dodge an R27ER flying at you, turning around takes a minute unless you pop those wings out and go. So there's a couple of times when you need to have the wing sweep activated almost immediately, and that is definitely during BVR when you're being launched on by an R27. So food for thought on that. When it comes to air brake, mouse 5, again, we went over this. It's very important to have on your mouse button, so I have it on mouse 5. And then down here, if we scroll a little bit more, there it is, my countermeasures are on mouse wheel down, okay? And mouse wheel up is TWWS lock cycle. I'll go over that in a second, just so you know. I'm just showing you what the other mouse key was, or the mouse wheel key was. But mouse wheel down is fire off countermeasures. And then, of course, drop bomb, fire rocket, fire air-to-ground missile, fire air-to-air missile, drop guided bombs, all spacebar, okay? Very easy because we have these set up. We can cycle 1, and that'll cycle through your cannons, and then cycle tilde, that'll cycle through all your missiles or your bombs, like this. So this is just me hitting tilde, and you can see up at the top left, I'm cycling from aim 9 to aim 7 to paveway. Very easy. When I want to lock an aim 9, I can. When I want to lock an aim 9L, I can just hit spacebar, right, and that'll lock, or try to lock a target if it's in range. If I hit V, it will cancel that lock, which is very important. It's very important to have sorry about that. It's very, very important to have V set, or a hotkey any of your choice set here if you're doing this, because for IR missiles, if you lock the sun, a teammate, or flares, for instance, you're going to want to have a hotkey that resets that lock so you can go ahead and hit spacebar again and launch that missile. So very important. But again, guys, these 2 hotkeys will take care of all of these for you. No need to have these on different hotkeys at all. Again, mouse wheel down, countermeasures, periodic countermeasures H. Sometimes you want this, sometimes you don't. There's very specific instances, like when you're blacked out and you turn this on, your pilot will fire countermeasures as soon as he's able to when he comes out from black. Okay, so it's good in that situation. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to spam your other countermeasure hotkey. Like for me, it's scroll wheel down, so I would have to spam scroll wheel down the entire time that I'm blacked out to get it activated as soon as I came out, right? So again, that's something to think about. Don't really need it, but something to think about. When it comes to radar, this is the nitty-gritty. Radar off is Alt-R, okay? Just Alt-R turns my radar off. When I want to cycle through my radar modes, that's just C. It's very easy to click, okay? When I want to go into ACM mode or back to regular radar mode, T. When I want to lock something, it's R. When I want to change my radar distance, it's 3. When I want to change my radar width, it's 4. Very, very, very simple. And then, of course, mouse wheel up is cycle through TWWS lock, which looks something like, well, let's restart this, and I'll show you what a good TWWS lock cycle through looks like at the start of a game. This is going to look kind of different because they're going to be very close together. In a normal game, they're not going to be grouped up like this, except for the AI will be grouped up like this, so you'll know, hey, go cycle on to TWWS mode. We're going to pop it up to 3, and now you can see that as soon as I change my distance, we're going to get locked. And this is just me cycling mouse wheel up. I'm cycling so fast, you really can't tell I'm switching targets, but I am. They're just too close together. But again, in a normal game, people are going to be so spread apart that doing that is going to give you a good picture of where they all are, and it's going to paint you like a situational awareness picture that is next to none. It's very underrated, TWS mode. So at the beginning of the game, when the initial merge, if you have TWS mode on, which you should, then you can cycle through using mouse wheel up like that, and then vector towards the enemies. Maybe you're trying to get the guy that's way out on the left or right that's going for a bombing base for an easy kill. Maybe you're trying to line up for Phoenix missiles. This is the way you do that. You get your situational awareness from TWS mode. In late game, TWS mode will help you find targets without them knowing you're there. Things like that. Very, very, very underrated mechanic, and you should learn to use TWS mode while you can. Again, you can hold a lock. If you initially lock something in TWS mode and you fire the Phoenix missile, and that Phoenix missile is stays on target the whole time you're soft locked, okay, or you stay soft locked while the whole time the Phoenix is in the air and hits the target, the Phoenix missile will not turn on its onboard radar. Okay, that is easier said than done. That is not realistic because TWS mode is very buggy. It will jump around at random and it will try to soft lock everything. You can't control a soft lock and what it wants to soft lock. It just happens, okay? You're going to find this when you work with Phoenixes. Soft lock will jump around randomly all the time. You can switch back onto lock, but as soon as it drops the initial lock on soft lock, the Phoenix will turn on its onboard radar at 16 kilometers, okay? So they will get a notification. But I find in the areas that this is practical is in late game when there's 1 or 2 people left, you can soft lock somebody and then launch a Phoenix at them after you've taken off a second time. You're coming back with a second loadout, and you soft lock a guy. There's 1 or 2 left. You have him soft lock. He can't bounce to anybody because there's nobody else near him, and then you're able to guide that Phoenix in all the way. I expect this mode to get fixed for the better when Russians are able to have a missile that can be fired in TWS mode. But until then, I doubt it's going to get fixed. So as soon as the Russians get a Fox 3 that they can fire in TWS mode, I promise you TWS mode is going to get better. But until that happens, it's kind of the redheaded stepchild because they really don't care. Aside from that, C, cycle radar, T, cycle ACM, again, radar width and radar length, cycle through TWS targets. And I think the only thing really we go down to is toggle cannon ballistic computer, which is turning on the ground target cannon or sight for the cannons. This selects an area on the ground for you so you can drop your bombs on. As far as dropping bombs, I have my third mouse key, the one I was talking about below the 2 mouse 5 and mouse 4 hotkeys. I have that set to delete. And then what that'll do is it'll cycle through external view and the optical seeker view for your bombs. So it's 1 hotkey to cycle through. We're going to swap to paveway. Boom. This is my paveway seeker. Boom. Paveway seeker. Boom. Again, TWS soft lock kind of. If you have something soft lock, it'll hold it because of the TCS camera on the Tomcat. So cycle out of that if you want to do that. But again, X will mark an area on the ground. I can look at that area, select something, and then go about firing or dropping the GBU on it. When the circle gets all the way up to the line will disappear and you can drop your GBU and it will go to the target. So again, very simple, just hitting that 1 hotkey, external to seeker, external to seeker, external to seeker, external to seeker, boom. Very, very simple, guys. Very simple. And I think I use B to toggle my view, which I never really have to use because, again, external is toggled to delete, and everything I need to switch to is toggled over here. I don't really use any of these. So food for thought there. And then, of course, N is night vision, L is aerobatics, I is engine, and 6 is toggle extinguisher. Aside from that, that's really it for the hotkeys. You really just need to learn how to, take that off. How to, is you want to learn how to cycle through your radar very quickly, which is C. Just cycling through my radar. Turn on your ACM mode very quickly. Cycle through ACM mode. This is me hitting C again. Again, T, C, 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 T. Back to regular radar. ACM mode, C, back to ACM PD. Hit C again, back to regular ACM mode. Hit T again, back to SRC. Hit C again, back to another radar mode. TWS mode, SRC PDV mode, things again. So if you know how to use those 3 hotkeys plus R, of course, to lock something, to hard lock something, then you'll be very fast at working your radar, selecting different modes, which is very, very important because if you, for instance, get a pulse Doppler lock with an AIM-7 launch, and then the guy starts to notch you, you can hit C to change to SRC mode, and that'll defeat the notch. Your radar will hold. Now, if he shafts, of course, then that'll defeat your SRC mode. So it's kind of a give and take and push, but let's say someone starts to notch and they don't have shaft, you can switch to, and that square breaks, and you've already fired your AIM-7, it's in the air, that square breaks, you can reacquire the lock. If you reacquire that lock within 3 or 4 seconds with SRC mode, that missile will still head to the target and hit it. It'll reacquire the lock and keep heading towards it. So it's very good to be able to work the radar quickly, okay? When you know how to do it and you have your hotkeys set up to do it like that, you can get a lot of kills with missiles that would have normally been dead missiles, or they would have just exploded in the air because you dropped lock. So I can't stress that enough. And this is how I work my controls and fly my plane. So I hope that really helps. Again, these are more guidelines than anything. Take it for what you will. Use them to help you fly your plane better. Use them to help set up your controls better. Okay, guys? So I hope this helps. Again, you don't need to like and subscribe. Just doing this for fun, doing this to help you guys out. Hope this helps. And that's the end of the video.